Good.
We've
Yeah,
got
I'm doing
Adam
great.
here. Adam, just tell us where you're from.
I'm originally from Essex, but I live now in Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas.
Okay, whereabouts in Essex were you from?
So I grew up in a little place called Thaden Boys, Epping, Loughton area, and then I spent 10 years up in Hull, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
So Hull City, I got a soft spot for Hull City, but I mean, I'm obviously West Ham through and through.
Cool. We've also got Katie here. Say hey, Kate.
Hi, how's everyone tonight? Here from Philadelphia, representing Philly Hammers.
Nice. Love it.
That's right.
Nice. I'm glad that you're here. It makes us, overall look better.
Oh, Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm just trying to figure out who's got the best lipstick on, you or Kate.
I swear. I just saying earlier, I don't know what's happened. It's the lighting in this room. I swear I'm not wearing lipstick. I ain't got a dress on under this or anything. I ain't got anything on underneath it, so I'm not showing you.
We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. Cool. So, Adam, tell us how you got into West Ham.
So my first ever match was in, I think it was 94, 95. I went to see Bolton Wanderers, West Ham, with my mum. My dad was never a football fan, but my granddad is from Leytonstone. And so back in the days when Bobby Moore was playing, he used to have a mate on the turnstile. And so back in those days, what he would do is they'd go in and him, my mum, my aunt, they'd all go in together with a milk carton and they'd all go through as like one person so that they didn't have to pay because they were very working class. And then the kids, like my mum at the time, they'd get these milk cartons and they'd stand at the back of the stand so that they could see what was going on. So my mum, my granddad passed it down. So yeah, my first game was the mid-90s. Tony Cotty scored. It was 1-0 to West Ham.
Oh, wicked.
That's great.
Do you remember who that was against?
Yeah, against Bolton. It was West Ham Bolton Wanderers.
Oh,
so although it's a shame, much like my gig, like for some reason my first never seems to be the best. The second match I went to was by far still one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I went with my granddad, who's like, he was my idol. And so we get to the ground, like I say, it's only my second game, and he hasn't been for probably 10 years, 20 years. We give our tickets in, and they let us into the wrong stand because we don't know where we're going. So we're in the Bobby Moore lower with all of the diehard season ticket holders that are all standing. It is the windiest day known in London, and it's West Ham versus Tottenham. And it was an incredible game. It ended up being 4-3 to West Ham, but it went like 1-0 to Tottenham, 2-1 to West Ham, 3-2 to Tottenham, 4-3 to West Ham. And it was like Hartson, Kitson, and Julian Dix were on the score sheet. And it was like the coolest experience. Like still it's probably my favorite game. And so I wish that had been my first game really, rather than a boring 1-0. But what can you do?
Yeah, my first game was against Wrexham and it was 1-1. So that was a harsh game.
True. I guess at least I saw a win, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. What was your first game, Kate?
It was against Leicester City, and they lost 2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, so I guess in the battle of first games, I've won.
Yeah.
1-0.
Good here.
And you was also in London to watch Steps as well, weren't you?
Yeah, we did. We had a great time watching Steps as well.
Wow. I didn't think anyone in America would have heard of Steps.
They were actually very popular in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah, late
90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Heard of, like Jock Jams. They were on Jock Jams. It's very popular with a lot of the young kids. But when we went over to London, we met a lot of people in their 30s and 40s who, were from the US or the UK that really loved really loved Steps. So it was really funny that we ran into all these people that, had been fans from when they were kids.
Gosh.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Moves.
What did you say?
Can you do any step moves?
Oh yeah, surely show us, Katie. You got that?
Oh,
5,
no,
6, 7.
no, that's not me. That's my brother. I don't dance. I just play soccer.
Oh,
Oh,
brilliant.
nice.
So, what's your worst game you ever been to, Adam? Or
Oh,
seen?
that's a good question. Damn. Well, there's been quite a few. That is a question I've never been asked, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. But there's a couple for a couple of reasons. One, I remember in the FA Cup, we once got absolutely thumped by Man United, like 7-0 or something. And I remember smuggling in alcohol. And the mood wasn't good already because we went up on buses, like on the coaches, and they said to us, "Oh yeah, you can get a drink in there," because we all wanted to find a pub. So most of the fans went in. We decided, nah, we're going to go to a pub anyway. When we get into the ground, they've closed all the bars. They're not serving alcohol to West Ham fans. So lucky enough, I'd smuggled in a little bottle of whiskey. The game was a shambles, but it was like, I don't know, it was a weird atmosphere. So like, we just started singing from about the last half an hour. We were just singing random things like we were singing "Let's Pretend We Score a Goal," and then literally the whole of the West Ham fans jumped around and celebrated a pretend goal. So much so that you notice some of the players on the pitch turn around and look, thinking, "What the heck is going on?" And then we're like, when we're 6-0 down, we're like 7-6, we're gonna win 7-6. I don't know if I just remember that because we'd had a few to drink. But I remember that. But I think like for pure unhappiness, it's like probably games near us getting relegated. But I mean, man, I'm sure you've been to so many games where you just all you want to do is forget that you've even been. I mean, you've been a West Ham fan for as long as us. You've seen some horrible, horrible matches. Yeah, and just 0-0 draws, like just games that are like wet and horrible. I think another terrible game was like when we were in the Championship, we played Millwall for the first time in the leagues for like ever, and they put the game at like 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Police lined the streets, and honestly, it was like something out of The Walking Dead. Everyone was like, no pubs were open or anything, and everyone was like half asleep, including the players on the field. I think that might have been 0-0 because everyone was just like lethargic. You're like, what are we doing at West Ham at this time in the morning? So that was another pretty crappy game.
Yeah. Okay. I see Wayne's in the chat.
No, that's a shame.
He's actually got me some questions for you.
I'll ignore them. There'll be a load of crap. Don't. Wouldn't. Oh, here we go.
He's asked about the White Horse final and what was the name of the police horse. Sorry.
Well, he'd know because he was old enough to be there. It was Billy. I know that. He's a tosser. Can you block him from chat? Do you have the authority to do that?
I don't think you can.
That's a shame.
Why is he asking these questions?
I mean, he makes it his life's ambition to piss me off, really. I mean, if anyone's listened to the West Ham is Why I Drink podcast, I mean, he's just like, I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers because we've got, a show out tomorrow, but like, he just, I mean, I don't know. Some people are just a liability, right? You've all got friends that are a liability that you're like, okay, we're going to do this, but at some point he might say something that's going to get us into a lot of trouble. Well, that's Wayne. Have you done anything with him, Katie? Have been on one of these with him?
Not yet. We've conversated over Messenger for quite some time.
Really? Did you manage to go through a whole conversation without any sexism from him?
No, not yet.
That is a surprise. The only reason that we've still got a podcast is because he can edit it.
Well, you are making it easy for him wearing lipstick and pajamas.
This is a onesie. I thought I would do something different.
Wait a minute. Where does one get a West Ham onesie?
I don't know. It was a Christmas present last year. It's pretty cool. Look,
Oh my gosh.
There you
My
go.
mother is going to die.
Yeah.
That is epic.
I know when I got it, I didn't take it off for about 3 days. Because last Christmas, I mean, this is a story for another time, but I got a little bit deported. And so I had to spend a few months in London. So I got to see some games at least.
Why did you get deported? I can't ask that question.
I'm not even kidding. This is the official reason. I'm not managerial or executive enough. That was the reason. I own a company and hire Americans, but apparently it's not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to America.
How long was you deported for?
It took about 3.5 months to get it sorted out.
Okay.
It was a farce, but I mean, I don't want us to get too off topic, but yeah, but I love America.
Yep.
No, I do.
You don't want to get deported again, you're saying?
No, I really don't. It's very inconvenient.
My other question from Wayne is...
God, more from him.
Yeah.
Your ones will be better.
Yeah, probably, but we come to them in a minute. Ask him why he is not willing to admit when he is wrong and accept defeat.
He's such a dick.
What's the matter?
I mean, he's making it very hard for me not to give away spoilers. I'm just going to give you a little snippet. So on last week's episode, despite the fact, there's me, worked hard, got us a very special guest. He came on, was our quiz master, and he went he blatantly edited it to change the outcome, just to screw me over. It's his life's ambition to screw me over. And so, I mean, I don't know. I just think justice is important. That's all. And so's integrity, and he doesn't have any. That's why you should block him from this chat. No, I love him really.
It sounds like you got a bromance going on.
Oh no, he's too old for me.
Well, we've got Wally in the chat as well, and he's asked Katie if she can play in goal for the weekend.
Absolutely not. Nope.
You do a better job, love. You should. Please.
Yeah.
Definitely not. No, I play midfield. Sorry, Wally. But I'll come drink hammer shots with you for sure.
What did you guys think of the game? Let's start with you, Adam. What did you think?
I mean, it's hard to find positives. And one thing I will say is that after that, Roberto needs to be dropped, 100%. If a player in any other position on the field made that many errors that led to goals, they wouldn't be on the pitch. I mean, I think this, let's say you have a centre-back who, under no pressure slots the ball into his own goal a couple of games in a row. You're telling me he's going to start the next week? No. And I cannot remember. I know it's all about Roberto right now, and I don't like to make someone a scapegoat. But think about this. When was the last time in the Premier League that either of you can remember a goalkeeper flapping the ball into his own net? Because I can't remember it happening. I seem to remember giving goalies stick maybe 20 years ago for it, but I can't remember. I literally couldn't give you an example. Can you think of a time?
I can't. Can you, Kate?
No, not that I can recall. I mean, yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. He should have just punched it right out, and it was just a flappy move.
It's unforgivable, really.
It was.
It's just it's not professional, I play. I play football on a Monday night, just a little 7-a-side, and that's the sort of thing I'd expect my keeper to do if he was having a bad game, and I'd be annoyed at him. This guy's playing for a Premier League club, and if he hasn't got the ability to deal with a cross like that, I mean, he just has no right to be playing. I'd rather we at least give one of our youngsters some experience rather than play a guy who, because after that as well, football's a confidence game. After that, not only is his ability very, very questionable, but now his confidence is rock bottom. You just can't have someone like that. Considering where we are at the moment in the table, he's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, and it looks like Martins is going to get a run in. especially against the Spurs game. So every site is posting about the news. I'm not convinced personally about Martins coming in, but there's not really much choice unless you go with the under 21s guy. I forgot his name. But yeah.
Because the other, I mean, you know, the other option, Trot, is on loan at Wimbledon. So, I mean, but yeah, at least with David Martin, you know, his dad is an absolute West Ham legend. So the guy's got links to the club. And you know what? All it takes is effort for a West Ham fan. You know, West Ham in the history have had some players that haven't been great, but they've tried really hard and they've given everything. That's why players like Snodgrass, you know, he makes a mistake and people are like, you know what, it's all right. You know, Anderson makes a mistake and he's a lazy git because of the work rate and the effort that they put in. Well, everything's really frozen. Oh no, you're back.
Oh, sorry. So I missed what you said. Sorry.
No, you just froze for a second there. So yeah, I was just saying that you know, we just need to play. We just need Martin to come in. I think he'll be fine. At least he's a trier. I'm sure he's gonna. At least he's like gonna put some effort in. He knows that he's got an opportunity now to play some matches in the Premier League at the end of his career. So at least he's gonna be motivated to give his best.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, all the West Ham fans could see Tevez when he first started for us, because he was just running his socks off, and he didn't score for ages, and then he got that goal, jumped into the crowd, and it was an amazing moment for everyone. And then he pulled us out of relegation because he was working really hard for the team, and you can see it. You can see it come on. Same with Scotty Parker when he used to run that midfield for us.
Yeah. I love those guys.
So, yeah.
Well, there's like a super delay.
My internet's playing up, so bear with if I do.
Yeah, I think your internet's playing up as well. But I mean, you are in Liverpool. Someone's probably outside stealing your electricity. Yeah, I think they've stolen his bandwidth now.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens if you unsecure you unsecure your hubcaps in Liverpool and they'll get stolen off your car.
Jeez.
Yeah, not the safest of places. Have you ever been?
No, I've been to Essex though.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the only way. See what I did there. So have you been to many games?
Just one. So we're trying to make it back, hopefully within the next year or so.
Class.
Yeah.
So you play now? You play like co-ed?
Yeah, co-ed pretty much is the only way around here. There are some all-girls leagues, but they're not as good.
So he's abandoned us.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there we go.
I think that's a little bit better.
Much better. We're just talking about co-ed. Have you heard of that, Ray?
Sorry, say again?
So in America, to let women play, well, it's more for women and men to both play. They have this co-ed football. All right.
Okay.
It's the most bizarre thing in the world, though, because, you know, it's all about, women should play with men. But here's the thing. If a woman scores, their goal counts for 2.
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
So in Texas, that's the rules.
What?
Yeah, for real. Like so girls always take the penalties because if a girl scores, it's worth 2 goals.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Is it not that way all over America?
No, I've never heard of that.
It was. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
they do that in like flag American football.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that for soccer.
Yeah, that's what they do here. Home of FC Dallas.
That's ridiculous. You need to get out of that state.
Yeah, although at least I've got an MLS team. Like FC Dallas is 10 minutes away from me, so I go to every game.
That's awesome.
Did you go to any soccer games over in America? Okay.
Yeah.
Did I go to any of the Union games?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to 4 this year. They were great. I had a great time. I really enjoy it. So it's not too far from me either.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost in the second round of the playoffs, so we were knocked out pretty quickly. But yeah, I was hoping West Ham would do something for me, but like I said a couple weeks back, if we didn't start, stepping up our game, we wouldn't have an opportunity to climb to the top. So I think that's where we're at now.
Oh, I am removing the wrong person. Sorry, just trying to add some things in. Well, everyone's seen it now, so let's talk about it. Don't forget to go to our store to look at our shops, buy loads of merchandising. Oh, look at that. American Hammers Sugar Skull. That's different.
Hammer sings. I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different groups on there. I've got one of the shirts on in blue. Didn't even take that long to come over, so it was quite good. Some good prices there. You guys bought any merch from the shop yet?
Not yet. We just launched Philly Hammers apparently this week, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting some of those, some for Christmas presents, of course. So
yeah, I've got a couple of scarves up around here, but no, I'll have to check this out. I like the whole. What's the difference between extra soft? I mean, what does that? I like that there's tons of options.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've got that, or if it's just.
What one do you have?
I've got this in the actual grey, so I don't know if you can see it, my gut, but I've got a white one as well. So
nice.
A grey one, sorry.
We need to get the onesies up on there.
I was just about to say that. If you're in the chat, get the onesies up on there.
That's right.
Onesies and red lipstick. There we go. Happy days.
David dupe. David must be a Philadelphia fan. Union.
Oh, is he a Union fan?
He must be.
It's all about FC Dallas. They're my boys.
Oh, okay. Right. So let's go on to the Hammers polls. Have you guys been on this at all this week?
Not this week, but I was last week.
Okay.
Yeah, most days I get on. I do a couple of them. I can't keep up with all of them, but yeah, we love Hammers polls. We use them a lot on our podcast, mainly to settle arguments because, as you all know now, Wayne's a bit of a megalomaniac, and we sometimes don't agree on everything. And so the best way to find that out is Hammers polls. Like, for example, we've got a new bubbles charm, a new improvement, and Hammers polls hopefully will help us to all of the West Ham fans to hear the new version of bubbles, which is going to take the world by storm.
Okay, we look forward to seeing that. So, who do you think is to blame, Adam? Out of them three, the managers, the players, or Julius?
I mean, it's the manager. Yeah, I mean, because he's the one that picks the team, and I don't think there's been a single game where every West Ham fan hasn't been like, hang on, why is this happening? And one good thing about it, because I try and find positives in everything. Like, there isn't a lot of unity in the world today, but on the bright side, with him continuing to make such horrendous choices, there's finally unity. Like, I've not met a single person that thought Zabaleta should have started against Palace the other week. Not one person. It's like, finally, everyone can agree on something. So there's the positive from it, but the negative is that it's the manager's fault.
Kate, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just think that, although the players at times have not given their best, I just think that, they're just the way the format is not working for us either. And I just think that, there were certain changes and tweaks that need to be made, and he just didn't make it. So I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. Some of the tactics have been very questionable, and like fans that have got minimum amount of knowledge within the game can see that you don't put a fast winger against a 35, 34 old left back who struggles with pace. Just
Right.
over the top and straight around. It's like he's got no, and it's not even Zabaletta's fault. It's the
No,
manager.
I feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, he must have thought, "Oh shit, I'm up against this. What am I going to do?" So yeah, for me, it's definitely the manager. And it's more of the tactics and his stubbornness, because that's what we're seeing there. Oh, so on the polls with 124, all the above.
I mean, I have a
That's
feeling that if one of the options was the players and the manager, that would have won it, because
yeah,
you know you can't blame one guy who argues with Sullivan about who should be signed.
yeah, yeah. I don't believe who else is. Yeah, I think if the question was the manager and the players together instead of who else in that, it would have won hands down.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I even think maybe some of the tactics he's using on Anderson. For me personally, I've seen that he's been defending more than attacking. So that questions me whether he's been allowed to go forward as much, or whether like what Mourinho did to Joe Cole was like, no, track back, and lose some of that flairness that he's got. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I reckon that one of the things that always comes to my mind is that a lot of these players that we've got, these flair players, like they're confidence players. You know, when Anderson's on, like the guy's amazing. I mean, to use FIFA as an example, I mean, the number of Team of the Week cards he got last year, and he's incredible. But you look at the man, Pellegrini, and you're like, can you really see that guy giving incredible motivating team talks? Like you look at managers like Klopp, like even Mourinho, Pep, these guys, like, you know, they've got some passion. I mean, this guy's like, does he care? How can you imagine him being able to motivate anyone?
No, I can't see it.
No.
It's
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see it at all, and I don't understand. You know, exactly what you said. You know, the players. Everyone's just been so inconsistent. It's not just one person. You know, and that's where Pellegrini needs to make the tweaks and the changes. And like you said, he's just not even motivating them either.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can't see him giving out a motivational speech. You know, just can't see it. And I think even some of his press content afterwards, he does about 2 minutes worth of them. Doesn't really say much. It does question me some of the stuff it is. So if we was to get rid of the manager,
I don't think he even knows.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I said I don't think he even knows what to say.
No.
There's like some horrible lag going on again, Ray, with you.
Yeah, I apologise. I'm in a dodgy basement. So.
Well, you are in Liverpool. Like I said, people are probably just stealing your bandwidth.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and that's definitely true. So, out of them, if you was to replace him, would you replace him with any of them two?
Ladies first.
I can't even see the screen.
Oh, sorry.
Josh, okay. It's okay.
Mourinho or Nuno Santo? Nuno Santo's the old manager, just been sacked, hasn't he, from Borussia Dortmund, I think it is, or yeah. Or would you bring in Jose Mourinho?
No, Santo is the Wolves manager.
Yeah, no, Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who would you bring in, Adam?
Well, I mean, Santo's like, he manages Wolverhampton, is the Wolves manager, so he's already in a job. Yeah. But honestly, I would take Mourinho if he would come to us. I would 100% get him, because here's the thing: every time he goes to a club, his second season is class, and you know, yeah, the third season will go back to being terrible again. But at least we're going to have an amazing season. It's guaranteed, isn't it?
I don't know if it's guaranteed, but I definitely think he can do a much better job than what we have going on now.
Yeah.
Well, he won't play football the West Ham way, though.
Year one, I think he can make moves.
But the other question is, are we big enough to actually go get him?
Nah.
Yeah, no.
He won't come to us.
No. And I've been saying for a while about getting Eddie Howe from Bournemouth, and then Gonzo done a piece on his channel, and everything he said was spot on. I totally agree with him. There's no way he's going to come to us because he's teed up to go to Tottenham, I believe. And we're so toxic at the moment. Hardly any manager's going to want to touch that.
You know, I think I've had this plan. I've been saying it for probably, I don't know, 10 years now. Like I think that they were going to get the London Stadium. Obviously, the original plan was to buy it. That delayed this plan a bit. They will buy it because it's costing the taxpayer too much money. And so at one point, they're going to have to swallow their pride and be like, all right, fine, you can just have the stadium for £1, but now you have to pay for all of the staffing and everything else. So, but I always thought what would happen is they're going to get the stadium, and now all of a sudden it's a London club, and due to the Olympics, it's in a position that has the best transport like to it in probably any club in the entire world, as far as like airports. A billionaire will just come and play the football game with West Ham. You know, Sullivan and Gold have bought it to sell it, and it's a smart club to buy because, you know, someone rich will come along and want to play the football game, and when they do, I think that's when we're going to start getting a decent manager. The team will be turned around, and it's going to be a fun time to be a West Ham fan.
Can it happen soon, please?
I mean, I think that, honestly, I don't think it'll happen until we buy the stadium.
Yeah. I think there's a clause in the contract where they will get a percentage if they sell the club after a certain amount of time, or Borough Council or whoever it is. So they're going to wait for that to run out and get off the contract so they can get the full amount.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think that was 5 years. So 5 or 10 years. I can't remember now. But yeah, that's my view. I agree. They're just giving it out to sell, or they're going to pass it on to their kids so their kids can sell it later.
Yeah, true. In a totally unrelated question, I've had Wayne, because, like I say, can't leave us alone. He's got a question for you, Katie. He wants to know what it's like to have a tail.
Oh, yeah.
A what?
A tail.
Let's just say I'm a unicorn.
You're a unicorn.
Unicorns have tails.
I feel like we need to learn a little bit more about this.
Grayson, come here. Come here.
We're waiting with anticipation.
Come here, bud. Look. There he is. Oh, man. The beast.
Oh.
He likes to come in and see what we're doing. So he's been coming up trying to get pets. And so if every once in a while you'll see my computer knock over, it's him just banging into it.
Oh, bless him. I was in the background.
I hope that answered Wayne's question.
Yeah.
I guess.
So let's pick Joe. Ooh. It's very close with a 333 points. That's quite good, but you know, Bulls are in Europe and doing really well. What else we got on here? Do we think Pellegrini was a lazy appointment by the board? I think at the time we all agreed with it.
Well, but here's the thing. That is not the question. The question is, without hindsight, do you agree? So, like, back when we hired him, I don't think anyone would agree, because you've got someone with great experience who's won the Premier League. Like, I don't think a single person would have said, oh, it's a lazy appointment at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think people now, you know, hindsight's 2020. So people that said no, they're crazy.
So, but with hindsight, yes, it was a lazy appointment. Without hindsight, no, not a lazy appointment.
How are we to know that?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I get visions to the future. I mean, like I say to Wayne, I mentioned it already. My new Bubbles song. One day I'm going to sing it in a stadium. It's a more positive version of Bubbles. Maybe for the end, I'll do it for you if you want people to stay to not tune in anymore.
Right, so we click in no, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 56 people.
Yeah.
Percentage.
And
Yeah.
I reckon probably 40% of people who didn't read the question properly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Rafa Benitez, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. Oh, that's quite close though.
Mm.
That's very, very close. You know,
I mean, Katie was answering spend the night with him. Right?
Definitely not.
Would you play Holland against Spurs? I would.
Yeah.
As in the Holland national team, yeah, I'd play them.
Yeah. I don't know if I would start him though. I'd bring him on off the bench. I think it might be just too much to start him.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. I don't think that's the match to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, 60% agree. But yeah, I think he's not match fit. I definitely would like to see him. Definitely like to see him. So, who would you like to see back in the team for Spurs? Them three: Mascherano, Wilshere, and O'Brien. All three.
For me, it's definitely got to be oh, Arthur Masuaku.
Would you drop Cresswell?
You know what? I think I'd probably put Anderson on the bench.
Really?
Yeah, play Masuaku up top and then bring Anderson on a little bit later on in the game when they're a bit more tired. And see, well, you see how the game is going. At least if Masuaku and Cresswell are both playing, you've got more of a defensive option. Like you can take, you can just move the team around a little more with a substitution, which is exactly what Pellegrini doesn't do. So it probably isn't going to happen.
What do you reckon, Kate?
I want to take Wilshere. Yeah, I mean, I like Masuaku, but I just think that Wilshere, to me, I just like the way he plays. He's a stronger player. That's just, who I would go with.
So for me, I would pick all three. And the reason why I would pick all three is because I would actually do 5-3-2. And I'll do the two wing backs. So they're running down. So it'd have to be Mascherano and with a Bonner and the other two in defence. With midfield, I'll put in Rice, Wilshere, probably Fornals.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah, the reason why is I think you can play more through balls and stuff like that to the two up front. And I also think that you're going to have 5 in the back, obviously, when we're defending. So you won't need to rely on him to defend as much. So he can be further up the field. With Rice being there, it's pretty much a back six, really.
Then who else would you play?
Haller up front. And then I'd probably play Yarmolenko up front with him.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I would definitely put Yarmolenko.
Yeah. I would like to see how them two would do up front. I'm not there training every week, so I don't know how good he is. But, yeah, again, it would be dropping Anderson.
Yeah. I think this is a game for Wilshere just because of his Arsenal and West Ham connections. Like he just doesn't like Spurs. And we need players in that game who really just give a crap about the shirt. We want players that care, but players that give a shit. They don't want to lose this game. And some of the lads, that are from Brazil, and that's why Fornals I maybe wouldn't put on because there's no way that he understands the gravity of the game for us fans. And so I'd sooner see, you know, workers, players like Snodgrass, Noble, players that are going to get stuck in because, you know, two things. First of all, Spurs is a massive game, always is, and we have a pretty good record against them, like in recent years. And then, you know, second of all, I think that these guys who are like English, they're going to get stuck in, you know. I'd love to see more of a team of battlers against Tottenham.
Yeah, I can see your point. I do think Wilshere might even be able to teach him why he's playing in midfield with him. Where
potentially,
and I think he would listen to Wilshere because Wilshere is a quality player, and you hear about him in training and his wonderful techniques. Just wish he could do it on the pitch, personally. So right, let's kick all three. 40%, wow. Quite high, with a bonus second. So yeah, there we go. I don't know if Wilshere's still injured though. He might still be injured.
Well, I mean, he's always injured. It's just a matter of how injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was 50-50 for the last game and didn't even make it on the bench.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd start Wilshere and then bring on Snodgrass after about 60, 70 minutes because he's going to tire her out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of almost answer it. Do you reckon they should stay or sell, Adam?
I mean, sell eventually, but not yet. I mean, like I say, I think and I don't think they will. Like, I really do not think they're going to sell until they've bought that London stadium because they're in it for the long game, and it doesn't make sense for them to, you know, it doesn't make sense for them to sell before then.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Katie? Do you reckon they should sell or should they stay?
I think stay. Yeah. I just don't see them selling at this point.
No, I can't see it being financial beneficial for them. So, and they're not going to sell up just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But 78% of them want them out. So, yeah.
What and the reality are two different things.
Yeah, I think there's still some bad blood in there. Right.
I want to know who else is taking these polls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Are they even reading the questions?
No. It's like, what I wonder. I'm like,
I think they just want the ball out, and that's the moral of that story. And they just I think leaving the Upton Park has been a bitter pill for everyone to swallow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I remember when I first went there, and it was all standing, and it was just crowds of people in there, and it's just like getting crushed. And then you go from that to seating. It's different, but yeah, now we're even further away from the pitch now. So I didn't really like it at the stand. I just felt like it was too much of a fishbowl. It was too far away. When you come over, Kate, and see it, what did you think of the stadium?
I mean, I really liked it, but again, you know, I didn't see the prior stadium, so I can't, you know, give an opinion on that. I was just so thrilled to be there, so I think, you know, my opinion doesn't really matter.
Just happy to be a part of it. What about you, Adam?
Yeah.
Have you been to the stadium yet?
Well, yeah. I was there at the first game against Juventus when they opened it. And, you know, I just remember, like, walking to that thing for the first time just reminded me of the, like, one time I've been able to go to Wembley to see us play, or, like, you know, in the Millennium Stadium at Cardiff. Like, it was just an incredible feeling that this huge stadium is for West Ham. Yeah. I mean, the gloss rubbed off pretty quickly. But I also think that, you know, look at the inside of that place. I mean, some of the stands are on scaffolding still. So that's because the place, it's not meant to be like that. Like, I really do believe that they're in it for the long game. Once they buy the stadium, they have the potential to turn that thing into one of the best stadiums in the world. Because otherwise, the seats would be a little bit more like structured rather than literally on scaffolding so that they can knock it down as soon as they need to.
Yeah, but I don't think they will knock it down. They have to wait for the new investor to bring it in because they're not going to make any more money by knocking it down just to make the fans happy.
No, but you're right. But I think that's part of the appeal to the new investor, because some billionaire can come in, they can rename the stadium, the whatever company they have stadium, whatever it is, they can easily do it because we have no naming rights on there. Then they can develop the stadium into however they want it. And, the reality is, because of the situation that the government are in, eventually we are going to pick up that stadium for way less than it's worth. And therefore, Golden Sullivan can sell it at a reasonable value, make a ton of money, and at the same time make it a very worthwhile investment for someone who's a really rich person. Talking to billionaires, I know it's off topic a little bit, but I read this thing the other day and it blew my mind. So I'm going to ask both of you a question. Okay, so 1,000,000 seconds.
Okay.
Have you heard this? 1,000,000 seconds is 12 days. How much time do you think 1,000,000,000 seconds is? Just what do you reckon?
12 hours. What do you reckon, Kate?
Katie?
24 days.
Okay, so this is to show the difference between like a millionaire and a billionaire. Okay, 1,000,000 seconds is 12 days. 1,000,000,000 seconds is 31 years.
Oh, wow.
And but we don't think about that when we think about millionaires and billionaires.
Right.
But sorry, it just blew my mind as well, because I was like, that's how much bigger a billion is. And yeah, and I was a maths teacher, so shocking, really.
Yeah, a bit crazy. And if a billionaire comes in and redoes that stadium, West Ham fans just going to love him straight away. And it's not even going to cost him $1 billion to make it. Well, it could depends. How much was the Tottenham stadium?
Oh, I don't know. I try and avoid all news related to
them. But yeah, a billionaire's going to want to get on the fans' side, so he's just going to knock it down, start again, and have it the way he wants it to be as well. So,
yeah.
Anyway, next question. Where do you stand? Pellegrini in? Pellegrini out?
Out.
I'd say in.
Ooh.
And maybe not for a lot longer, but I hate the fact that West Ham have turned into a team with such a history of sticking with managers into everybody else that just fires them as soon as there's trouble. And so, I don't know. I love the fact that we haven't had many managers in our history, and so I'd like to give him more time.
I was like that, but I was expecting a response against Burnley, and after that, it took me literally 2 days to even do my review. I really struggled to even do that because I was so downbeat. And he has got 2 games for me to save his job. And if he loses against Tottenham, and if he loses against, well, not even loses against team, if they show the same performance that they did against the other 2 teams and the same tactics, and we get beaten 3-4-0, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt every West Ham fan.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because you're right. It's not even about the results. It's about the manner of the performance that leads to those results, and a total refusal to try something new, even though what you're trying is not working and everyone else knows exactly what you're going to do. You're too predictable. And so, yeah, you're right. I think it's less about the results now and more about, because here's the thing: if he can't motivate us against our biggest Premier League rival, if he can't fire the players up for that, at that point, my hands are going to be up now and say, all right, you know what? Even a shit manager should be able to do that. I feel like I could manage a team for that game and make them get out on that field ready to kick some ass. And if he can't do it against Tottenham, he may as well go.
I disagree. I think he should be motivating us even with the teams that are at the bottom of the barrel. And he's not even doing that. Like, we have the talent to be winning these games, and we're not. We're not even playing like we're in the game. You know? It's ridiculous. So for me, I just feel like it's time to move on.
So you wouldn't even give him the 2 games? Okay.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would give him the 2 games. He does need the opportunity to prove himself, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't look bright.
No. And there's some more we're going to come on in a minute. So I'll say in for now, but literally, he's got 2 games left, and that shows 836 votes as well for that one.
Wow.
And that's 2% want him out. A year ago, we would never be saying that.
No.
I agree with you. I do.
Yeah.
2 months ago, we wouldn't be saying that.
No, yeah, that's true. That is true.
Even though he's sick to my stomach over it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, thank you to our friends at Hammers Polls for them questions. I do like doing them, to be fair.
So do I. They are. It's a really cool idea. I love it.
Yeah. So the board have been talking to the press again.
Shock.
Yeah. I think they're trying to deflect any inkling that there's any issues with them, which is in turn doing the wrong thing for them, because they didn't say anything. They didn't leak anything to the press. None of the fans would be blaming them. But now they're blaming them for getting involved. And I think all of us agreed that Zabaleta should not have played instead of Fredericks for the Newcastle game. So it does worry me about the board.
Yeah. It should.
Yeah. This question keeps coming up. Do you think Diangana should be recalled back? Kate, let's go with you. What do you reckon he should be called back after the Lanzini injury?
No, I don't think he should.
No.
No.
What about you,
I think it's really tough. I mean, it really all comes down to Pellegrini, what Pellegrini is going to do. If it's coming back to go on the bench, then absolutely not. With Antonio coming back, I think if Antonio gets injured again, coming back, if his hammy goes again, at that point, maybe. But I think it should be used as a last resort because, 2 things are happening. While he's here, he's building his stock. He's becoming more valuable, both to us and in the transfer market. And if West Brom get promoted and he's a big part of it, they'll probably come in with a pretty decent offer for him. And then we've got we can either put some money in our transfer fund for a player who hasn't played, or we can be like, all right, he's ready to play for us in the Premier League. So I don't think they're, like I say, unless Antonio goes and we're another man down, I think leave him where he is.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I say leave him where he is. We've got a young Nathan Holland that we can put in the team, even on the bench. If we want to see what the youngster's all about, give him a chance. Keep Diangana. West Brom are flying in the Championship. It's going to build his confidence amazing if they get promoted. If they win the title, that'd be fantastic for him. It'd come back to West Ham as a winner, which is.
And the other thing, we just don't, as football fans, we easily forget about players' actual developments. And I'm lucky enough here to have a few friends that play for the MLS team, and one of them who's a good friend of mine, he got signed, played really well, unexpectedly broke into the first team, and then got called up to the Under-23 World Cup in Poland, where he didn't kick a ball. Now, when he comes back, he's lost his place. and now he hasn't played a competitive game for a month. And all of a sudden, it's back to square one. Now, it was called experience for him, but the reality is it didn't really help his development as a player. And so I think the biggest thing is that for him to be good as a player, he needs to be playing. And I think with Pellegrini, the way he is, I don't think he's going to play Diangana. And so if he's not going to get a game for us, he needs to be out playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with you. And, next season, Antonio gets a year older. So does Yarmolenko. So it'd be right for someone to come in there and take over. And if that's him and Holland probably will need to go out loan next season if he doesn't get any chances this season.
True.
And, some of his play, I've got a friend who's West Brom, she actually loves Diangana. He's doing so well. He's come off the bench, making goals for him, making assists. I think he's one of the top players in the league, to be fair, in his position. So, yeah, for me, keep him where he is.
Nice.
What else we got? So this is definitely a question that was said the other day, and I wonder myself, do you think Pellegrini's lost the dressing room? What do you reckon, Adam?
I don't know. I mean, think about it. When managers like Mourinho blatantly lost the dressing room, like it was super obvious because of the way the players, just acted. Then you had, whoever that guy was on, he was Chelsea manager afterwards, where the goalkeeper, he tried to sub him off and the keeper's like, nah, I'm not going off.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I think it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because he lacks passion in any area. So, I mean, can he lose the dressing room? It's not like he's got them all fired up playing for him. I mean, I don't think he's ever had the dressing room in a way that a motivator manager hasn't. So, I don't know. I don't think so, but you can't. Who would know? I mean, it'd really be hard to tell.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's the players will be questioned like us. They will be questioning his tactics. They would have seen, Maximus against Zabaleta. They would have questioned substitutes and what time they brought them on. And if they're questioning it and we're questioning it, he's going to lose them at some point. I do think he will have the next two games to keep him on side, or he needs to bring someone in like a Stuart Pearce or someone like that can motivate him before he goes and has his tactic team talk. What do you reckon, Kate?
Yeah, I think, just like all of us are questioning things, I think the players are starting to question things. It's pretty apparent, I think, on the field. I think that, we probably aren't seeing it as a blatant thing, but, with the past couple losses and us not making, solid moves in regards to winning and playing better, I think, especially with the structure. So I just think that, I think they are questioning it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think they are questioning it myself. It's going to be a struggle. So I'm just going to get the quick fire questions up. Before we do, Adam, tell me some stories about Wayne. What stories have you got?
Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh, but it's hard because honestly, I was about to just improvise a comedy story and totally make the whole thing up, but I feel like I don't know. I'm too glad. I will say this to him before I slate him. The guy Dallas Hammers wouldn't exist without him. He has created one of the biggest supporters clubs in America. We always get our photo on the NBC thing, and that's because of the work he does. And it's the same with our podcast. The West Ham is Why We Drink podcast. I mean, he edits it every week. He produces the thing. So he really does put a lot of time in. But he's also a total liability. There's a story I really want to tell, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
No watershed here.
Oh, I know, but it's not appropriate for more reasons than a watershed. But maybe I'll tell it anyway. So, okay, I'm just going to tell you the story, and I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to accuse him of anything in particular, but I will say this: back the season that we had Victor Moses, okay, there was one game where we made like I think 3 substitutions in the game. And I think the first one might have been like Antonio coming on, and Wayne's like, so Victor Moses just come on? No, that's not Victor. Then maybe Ogbono came on. Victor Moses, no, Wayne, that's not Victor Moses either. And then, I'm trying to think of another appropriate player without, being too obvious.
I'm with you.
Maybe Sanchez, he wouldn't have been playing for us then. Masuaku comes on, Victor Moses. And so his eyesight isn't great. And I'll tell you as well, so we're watching Burnley, pretty depressed. Their second goal goes in. Most of us are just like, F our lives. Wayne, this is his reaction. The goal goes in. Yeah! Oh. Yeah, Wayne, we've already seen one goal. We're not playing in claret and blue, you moron. Like, he legitimately celebrated the goal. I don't actually know if he's a West Ham fan, to tell the truth. Like, the amount of time he spends watching the game makes me wonder if it's just a need to be, like, wanted by a group of people. I think that might be what it is.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to think of another good story that's appropriate. But
you're the one that showed up in a onesie with lipstick. I'm sure he's going to be all over you.
He will. I'm sure he will. But yeah, he is a bit of a megalomaniac, though. He's very quick to abuse other people. And actually, I will tell you one thing. Like, the West Ham's origin thing, it's the two of us try and organise it, but he don't really talk to me about anything. He just goes straight ahead and does what he wants to do. I'm not kidding you. He has messaged and tweeted a Tottenham Hotspur podcast and said, hey, should we do a show together before the game? And then he texted me about it and was like, hey, Adam, we've got this Hotspur podcast. Should we do it? I'm like, and do you know what I texted him back? I texted him back one word. Why? What? I mean, and he calls me about it. I was like, well, it'll be really funny. I was like, not really. I don't want to go on their podcast and I don't want them on our podcast. What's going to be funny about that? And then he changes his tune and he's like, yeah, but we can just take the piss out of them. And I'm like, no, that's not why you did it, Wayne, you weirdo. So I wish I could give you more abuse, but, he's got a young daughter and he's embarrassing enough already without me throwing him under the bus even more.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll get on a podcast with him soon because I need to see it for myself.
You do not want to. I'm going to tell you this now. I mean, unless you're happy with comments such as, aren't you in the kitchen? I want a sandwich. Because that's what you could expect from him.
I can take it. I'm from Philadelphia.
Oh, I like that. And he will like it as well. But don't encourage him.
I know. Soccer, co-ed soccer, boys and girls. I like that.
We have we organise a friendly match every year. It's the West Ham Fat Boys, Dallas Hammers. Wayne doesn't play. He just sits on the sideline with his Australian hat and some water, being the tea lady. And we play against the local fire department.
Oh wow!
So safe to say we've never won a game. Yeah, it's not particularly fun. Although it's the first time in my life I've been one of the best players on the pitch for my team.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Let's move on to the quick fire questions. It'd be interesting to see how long you've been in the States now, Adam?
6 years.
So, meat pie or apple pie?
Apple pie.
Oh, so the Americans are taking over on you.
Well, I think, to be honest, I've always liked a cheeky McDonald's apple pie. So, if it was if you'd have said a chicken balti pie or an apple pie, I'd have gone chicken balti pie.
Yeah. What about for you, Katie?
Oh, apple pie every time.
Okay. So yeah, I love steak and kidney pie, so I'm a steak and kidney kind of person. Who is your favourite current West Ham player?
Am I doing it first?
Yeah, you go, Adam.
I think I'm going to go with Declan Rice.
Yeah. What about you, Katie?
Declan Rice, only because my grandmother's last name was Rice. So also from Ireland, we feel a deep connection, and I love
He's
him.
not from Ireland.
Yeah, I know, but
Savage. Dab it in there. For me, yeah, it will be Declan Rice. Yeah, I love the players when they come through the youth team. So, that's why I liked Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, even Defoe, even though we did purchase him from Southampton or whatever it was. So what player frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Good question. Roberto, easy. That's easy. I mean, I was trying to overthink, but right now, definitely Roberto. I mean, I've never doubted the professionalism of a person in my life. Like, he's literally mugging a living.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to say the same thing, but it's absolutely true. I think all of us feel the same way at this point.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is he can pull off some world-class saves. Like
it straight at him though.
Well, that is another argument, but he's got to be there to actually get him to hit him.
Yeah, but that flappy punch still won't.
I know.
I can't do it. If it's a bad flap.
Like, I don't even know what you call that, but flappy punch was perfect.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wally, I promise you I can play goalie better than Roberto, okay? I'll do it just for you, Wally.
There you go, Wally. You got your answer. So with that, moving on to FA Cup or top 4 finish, what would you pick?
FA Cup.
FA Cup.
Yeah. I have to pick the same thing because at the moment, there's no way we're going to finish top 4. We're not even going to finish top 6. And that will save our season by winning the FA Cup.
Did you go to the final? Did you get to go?
No.
Against your hometown team? It was. I was lucky enough to go. That's probably the second best game I've been to. Definitely the best West Ham loss I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I don't know what it's like for you. You probably hate them, but it gave me a massive respect for Liverpool fans because, like, after that game, I've never been. It was the weirdest situation I've ever seen in my history of going to football. I've been to hundreds of matches. And, most of the time after the game, you're either celebrating a win or, wanting to kill an opposition supporter, not wanting to talk to them. But it's like there wasn't even any need for police. It's like the Liverpool and West Ham fans all left together as one with a mutual respect for each other because it was so loud. Both teams were singing all throughout the game. And at the end of it, every single person leaving the ground said the same thing. Like, man, West Ham played so well, but Steven Gerrard just was that little bit of extra difference.
Yeah.
And, everyone at the end of it, and it was a cool experience. But, like, to get to go to an FA Cup final and see West Ham win, like, if we get into the FA Cup final, I'll be back for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Singing my Bubbles song on the pitch.
You're trying to get that bubble song going, aren't you?
Do you want to hear it?
Wait until after the quick fire, and then we're going to give
you. Sorry, I'm not being very quick.
What about West Ham do you love?
Was that to me?
Yeah.
What about West Ham do I love?
Yeah. What about West Ham do you love?
I love the community of it, the familyness, the working class East London, the spirit of West Ham, the West Ham way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. That was one of the reasons that I picked West Ham to support them, just because of the blue collar neighborhood and the fans are just fantastic. Love my Philly Hammer, so it's all about the fans.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I met Gio and I've met a few fans in Liverpool. I've met Nicky from West Ham Fan TV and just amazing guys. Just got on, got absolutely drunk and had a fantastic time. So, yeah, it's definitely the family. And they don't care where you're from or who you're about. we're all together as one at the end of the day, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
what about West Ham do you hate?
Ooh. Can I just cheat and put Roberto for all of my negative answers? Oh, I'm kidding. That's a tough question. Can you come back to me?
Yeah, sure. Kay, do you have an answer ready?
I think right now, just the fact that we have such potential and that, I think that's the most frustrating thing for me, that we have the potential and we haven't really been able to tap into that or keep it going. That's my answer for right now.
Have you got an answer yet, Adam?
Yeah, inconsistency.
Yeah.
That is what I hate. Just the fact that we can be so good and we can be so bad. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. For me, it's a bit like Brexit. Half the fans love him, and half the fans hate him, and we're 50-50 on the board. Well, actually, we're probably more 70-30. But there's always some splits, and we always have lovers' tiff and arguments. But then we do sort it out afterwards, so that's a good thing. So, what sound makes you happy, Adam?
We're in the back of the net for West Ham.
Cool. What about for you, Kay?
Abuvazuela.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Mine has changed now, so it's tequila. So some of the girls have got a tequila outfit, so they go put it on and they dance on the bar. It's absolutely funny. It's hilarious. So, what is your favorite curse word, Adam? For me, it's "or you can."
I was going to say that.
I love
I was
it.
going to say that.
What?
Cunt.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. It's a very East London word to say, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if Adam's thinking.
Yeah, go for it, Katie.
Oh, Philadelphia. It's it's just like Boston. We all say F. Fuck.
I want to do better than cunt, but I don't think I can.
It's a good
Yeah,
word.
it's got to be.
Okay. Adam, what team do you love to beat?
Tottenham.
Okay. Tottenham
Absolutely as well? Tottenham, especially because my father's a Tottenham fan.
Yeah, some good friends of mine are Tottenham fans as well.
Yeah. I actually love to beat Man United. So I'm a good Man United fan, but they're always winning stuff back in the day. So I always used to love beating them or stopping them from winning the league. Not me personally, but the team. And yeah, that's what I name a player, past or present, that epitomised West Ham.
Joe Cole.
Joe Cole? Why is that?
Because, first of all, he had passion, he had flair, he was a West Ham boy, loved the club, and never quite reached his potential.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like West Ham.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do blame Mourinho for that. And that worries me if we brought him into the West Ham team.
But it wasn't just Mourinho. I mean, his Liverpool, think about his Liverpool debut, he got sent off. It was a nightmare. And, the Liverpool career, the whole thing was a disaster for him because he started so badly. And then went to Chelsea. And at least he achieved something. But yeah, and that's a shame. I love that guy.
Yeah, I love Joe Cole. Okay, same question to you.
What was the question? I couldn't really hear it.
So, what player, past or present, that is Mr. West Ham, basically?
I signed it for you, so you'd hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question. I'm going to skip this one. Go ahead. You can go, Ray.
All right, cool. Yeah, so for me, at the moment, it's Mr. Mark Noble.
Yeah, good answer.
It's everyone's answer at the moment. You just when he was lifting them players off the pitch, the fans off the pitch, you can see that he had passion about the club, and the last game of the bowling, it was amazing. And his speech at the end. So, yeah.
I get shivers thinking about that last game.
Yeah, yeah. So this question, my one changes all the time now. So if you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham United, where would you go and why?
I'd watch West Ham win the World Cup final in 1966 because it's probably the only time it's going to happen ever.
That's more England.
Well,
Katie, what about yourself?
Yeah, I would say that. Of course, everyone wants that opportunity, but if I, wanted to make it in within my lifetime, I would definitely say even just to see a game at the old stadium, just to have that comparison. Just because, I read in the papers, how much everyone dislikes the new stadium, and I just couldn't really get a feel for that, especially going there and seeing it. I was in awe. I thought it was glorious, but I know how much the people there just really don't like it.
Yeah. For me, it was the FA Cup final with the White Horse, but now I think I would like to go back to the first ever game at Upton Park.
Wow. My real answer, by the way, for my actual West Ham answer, would be the last game at Upton Park. Because I've been to so many games, and to watch that, I thought about flying back for it.
Oh, really?
But I watched it on the bar, and because it got delayed so long, it meant that the TV coverage here in America cut off before all of the end. So we were watching it on a phone. And me and another lad, Rich, we literally were sobbing at the bar, just like literally the two of us with our drinks, sobbing away, watching this. And it was just like, it holds a lot of memories and memories of people that I love that are no longer here. And so, if I could take a time machine and go back to an actual West Ham game, I'd do that so I could experience it with the whole West Ham, with the West Ham community.
Yeah. I think we've lost Katie there.
Yeah, she obviously got really offended by that question, mate.
It's either that or she's called my internet bug, which I had at the start of the show. Well, we're pretty much finished now. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. Just want to thank everyone in the chat. Wally, Neil, T-Brute. Who else we've got in here? We've had in here. Why West Ham drink. We've had quite a lot of regulars in there. So thank you very much, guys, for everyone to come in. Katie, if you're listening, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. Adam, brilliant host. Can't wait to hear your podcast. But I'm going to let you sign it out with your song. So
all right,
give it a tune.
Okay, so here we go. This is, so the reason is, I was like, look, West Ham have been, like I said, inconsistent. They never quite make it. And so I was like, what we need is a more positive version of Bubbles. So literally before I go to bed the night before we record, I was like, oh crap, I was meant to do this. So I literally just like on the spot, just rewrote the words. So it's a little bit crap, but it's like, all right, I'm going to make Bubbles positive. So this is it. Okay. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly for you, flying through and through. Then, like my dreams, they all come true. Fortune's never hiding, broken dreams to mend. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles till the end. You know, that's it. Yeah. That's
Very good.
My positive version of Bubbles. And I will say it is going coast to coast. Let's just say you'll hear more on the podcast episode, but the truth is this has been heard in Hollywood. That's what I'm going to tell you. You'll have to listen to the podcast to find out a little bit more about how.
Okay. Oh, this is one last question before we go. If you used to make a film about West Ham, what era would you make the film on, Adam?
I think if it's me, it would probably be the 90s, the Harry Redknapp era, going into where we, finished fifth. And that's really just because, that's only because it's the era that I lived the most. Now, that's just for me personally making it. If I were to just watch one, I would probably want to see it in the days of Bobby Moore. You know, I'd like to really be able to like get a feel for what it was like to be a working class player who like walks home after the match, you know, and goes to the local chippy and stands in line with everybody else. It will be nice to really get a feel and really understand like what the sport used to be before it became a business.
Yeah. Okay, have you got an answer for that one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Adam. I think that, you know, back at that time, it would be interesting to see what it was like. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's good. For me, I would probably like it to be the Thames Ironworks and how West Ham started. I think back in that era, you could do so much with it, tell so many different stories, and make it more about people than it is about, because that's what West Ham is about. It's about the fans and all that kind of stuff. So I would personally like to see that and how it all started. So with a bit of Hollywood twist. So yeah, there we go.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a bit different as well. So anyway, as I said, Katie, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely.
Adam, been a pleasure. Love the song. Can't wait to download it on iTunes.
Awesome. Stay positive. Love your lives.
Cool. Just one last thing to say. Come on, your irons. So yeah,
Come on.
That's right.
thank you everyone in chat. Let's just